In a quiet North Carolina suburb, a father in jeans and a faded t-shirt blends seamlessly with his neighbors. Yet by noon, he is rehearsing hostage rescues for America's most secretive military unit. Even his family doesn't know the truth. How do Delta Force operators live such double lives? And why does hiding in plain sight come at a cost far more complex than combat? This is the invisible world behind the cover stories. Fort Liberty rises on the edge of Fayetteville, North Carolina, an Army post with a reputation for airborne grit. But tucked inside its sprawling boundaries sits a compound that does not appear on public maps. This is home base for Delta Force. The compound sits apart from the main post, surrounded by fences, guarded by layers of security and built to keep prying eyes out. Within its walls are armories, kill houses, mock aircraft fuselages, and operations centers, everything needed for missions that rarely make headlines. Yet the operators themselves rarely stay here after hours. Instead, they blend into the neighborhoods just beyond the gates. Fayetteville, Southern Pines, and Pinehurst are dotted with homes that look no different from any other suburban street in America. It is common for a Delta operator to drive a pickup or minivan past rows of brick ranch houses, wave to neighbors, and disappear behind a garage door, never hinting at the world they return to each morning. Living off post is not just a perk. It is a deliberate tactic. The Army wants these men hidden in plain sight, practicing the same blending skills they will need in cities across the globe. Their children attend local schools. Their spouses shop at the same grocery stores as teachers and accountants. On weekends, you will find them mowing lawns, grilling in the backyard, or coaching youth soccer. This geographic veil is more than camouflage. By living among civilians, operators avoid the rigid rhythms of base life. There are no uniforms off duty, no morning formations in the driveway, no military insignia on mailboxes. Even their appearance is shaped by the need to blend, and beards, longer hair, and casual clothes are not just allowed but encouraged. The separation from Fort Liberty's main post means most neighbors never suspect the truth. Even those who work on base might not realize the man next door spends his days rehearsing hostage rescues or training for missions that cannot be mentioned. In these neighborhoods, the line between ordinary life and extraordinary service is almost invisible. That is the point. The safest operators are the ones no one notices at all. A Delta operator's camouflage extends far beyond a quiet street or a nondescript house. It is a daily ritual, enforced not by policy but by necessity. Operators carry identification that lists them as generic Department of the Army employees, never mentioning Delta Force or Joint Special Operations Command. The ID is intentionally bland, with no special markings and no hint of the unit's existence. If a neighbor or a school official asks about work, the reply is always the same: a vague reference to government consulting, logistics, or a training position at Fort Liberty. Even extended family members are kept at arm's length, convinced their relative spends long days in a windowless office shuffling paperwork or sitting in on endless briefings. Physical appearance is another layer of the disguise. Unlike most soldiers, Delta operators are not only allowed but expected to look civilian. Beards, long hair, and casual clothes such as jeans, hoodies, and work boots are standard. This is not just for comfort, it is a requirement. Operators need to blend in at home and abroad, so the Army grants them leeway denied to others. The look is deliberate, a calculated break from the rigid grooming of the broader military. A bearded man in a flannel shirt could be a contractor, an IT specialist, or a stay-at-home dad. That ambiguity is the point. Legal and administrative safeguards reinforce this wall of protection. Personnel records, medical files, and pay statements are scrubbed of any Delta references. Even on base, operators use cover names or first names, rarely acknowledging rank outside of formal paperwork. The Army's own documentation is designed to protect the operator's identity in case of accident, investigation, or a traffic stop. The system is so tight that, as Eric Haney described, an operator can attend a family reunion and field questions about a desk job, all while knowing he spent the previous week rehearsing for a mission overseas. Every gesture, every answer, every detail is chosen to maintain the illusion. Operators learn to watch their language, avoid military slang, and keep stories generic. They drive vehicles that blend into the landscape, such as pickup trucks and minivans. Nothing flashy. Even the route home is planned to avoid drawing attention. The result is a life spent in constant performance, where the mask of normalcy never slips. This daily discipline builds a mindset that is as much about survival at home as it is overseas, setting the stage for deeper personal costs that surface behind closed doors. The day for a Delta Force operator begins before sunrise. By 6 in the morning, most are already pushing through a 5-mile run or hauling a 45-pound ruck across damp fields, alone or in small groups, no formation required. There is no bugle, no roll call, just the expectation that you will show up ready, every single day. After a quick shower and a change into civilian clothes, operators drive to the compound, blending into morning traffic with the rest of Fayetteville's commuters. Once inside the gates, the tempo shifts. Training blocks run 10 to 14 hours, broken into rapid-fire segments, live fire drills, kill house assaults, medical trauma scenarios, language classes, tactical driving, and high-altitude parachute preparation. Every skill is perishable, so nothing is left to chance. Each week, an operator will fire 2,000 to 3,000 rounds, more than most soldiers see in a year. The air inside the kill house hangs thick with cordite and sweat as teams move through doorways, clearing rooms with practiced precision. By afternoon, it is another round of rehearsals, sometimes on full-scale mock-ups of aircraft or embassies built to match real-world targets. There is no set end time. Training runs until the job is done. George Hand. The fourth, a former operator, once described the cycle as relentless, 7 days a week, sometimes for months, with no true weekend. The grind never lets up. Even off the range, operators are expected to maintain their edge, spending evenings reviewing intelligence, checking gear, or squeezing in extra workouts at home. The pace is unforgiving, and the line between work and personal life blurs until it nearly vanishes. Secrecy and relentless training do not just shape the operator, they shape the entire family. Tom Satterley, who spent 2 decades in Delta Force, has spoken openly about the personal aftermath. He estimates that between 70% and 90% of Delta marriages end in divorce, a figure echoed by many in the special operations world, though exact numbers remain hidden behind layers of confidentiality. For Satterley, the cost was painfully real. He lost 4 marriages before he confronted the emotional distance that secrecy and compartmentalization had built around him. Children of operators grow up with fathers who vanish for weeks or months, then return home without answers. Birthdays, holidays, and school recitals are missed without explanation. Even when present, many operators find it difficult to lower their guard or shed the habits of vigilance and emotional control that keep them alive on missions. This distance can leave spouses feeling like outsiders in their own homes, and children struggling to understand why their parent seems both near and impossibly far away. Financially, Delta operators are compensated more than most in the Army. Ranks from E6 to E9 can see total annual pay between $80,000 and $120,000, thanks to special duty and hazardous duty allowances. But no one joins for the money. The real currency is purpose, camaraderie, and the sense of being part of something few will ever understand. When that sense of purpose is disrupted by family breakdowns or the end of a career, the transition can be brutal. Some families find a way forward. Jen Satterley, Tom Satterley's wife, co-founded the All Secure Foundation after realizing she learned more about her husband's life from his memoir than from years of marriage. The foundation offers counseling, retreats, and resources for special operations families. It is one of several groups, including the Honor Foundation and Warrior's Heart, working to help operators and their loved ones rebuild trust, address trauma, and navigate life after the mission ends. For many, these programs are the first step toward healing wounds that secrecy and sacrifice have left behind. Today, Delta Force operators walk among us, hidden in plain sight, carrying burdens they can't share. As their missions continue in silence, so do the invisible costs. The real price of secrecy is not measured in headlines, but in the quiet struggles behind every closed suburban door. What would you sacrifice?